makes a fortune with currency manipulation. It's cheating. It's cheating. And when I sit down and say, listen, you got to stop this, you're killing us, you got $500 billion trade deficits for us, you got to stop it. We have rebuilt China. And when I tell them this, and when I say, listen, you got to do it, you got to do it. See, we have all the power, but nobody knows it. And when we catch them cheating, 10% tax right across the board, every good coming in from China, right? Now, here's what's going to happen. Number one, they're going to stop cheating. And if they don't, we collect 10%, we make a fortune. But they're going to stop cheating. There's nobody that tells them this. When they come over, President Obama, they put a tent on the White House lawn, right? And they give them a state dinner like you've never seen before, although I would have a ballroom. I offered to build a ballroom, you know that story. They turned it down. I was going to put up $100 million to build a ballroom at the White House because having a tent is not that good. It's not even that safe, a canvas tent. And they never even got back to me. That's the way it is. If I were president, somebody offered that, I'd say, give me the top 5 American architects in the United States. Get them over here. All of you come up with a ballroom that holds 1,000 people, 1,000 people. And they'll come up and one of them will be beautiful and we'll build it. I'll take the guy's money. Believe me, I promise. Somebody wants to build a ballroom at the White House. They turn me down. No interest. No interest, because that's the way the country runs. So I'm only saying to the people of Ohio, to the people of Columbus, I want to tell you, we're going to turn this country around and we're going to make it so strong and so great, and we're going to run it smart. We're not going to run it stupid like it is. You're not going to have, when I look at your numbers, when my statistician writes all this stuff out, it's just one bad number after another. It's a terrible, I mean, honestly, it's a terrible thing. Look, Columbus. Ohio has lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton signed NAFTA, right? Columbus has lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton signed an agreement to put China into the World Trade Organization, right? Hillary rammed through the job-killing trade deal with South Korea. That's been a killer. The deal with South Korea has been a killer. I buy thousands of television sets, thousands and thousands. Nobody makes television sets. Remember, we used to have Sylvania, for those of us that are old enough. We had General Electric. We had all these companies. We got nobody. We don't make television sets. We don't make a lot. Soon we won't make anything. And you can only have so many nursing homes in a factory. You know, a lot of factories were taken, they were made into nursing homes. I think that's great. But you can only have so many of them. We need jobs. We need jobs. Look at this. I mean, abandon the diplomatic personnel. It's so many different things. Supports, I told you this, supports a 550% increase. It was sort of amazing because the press is always saying, well, you're wrong, and you exaggerated that number. No matter, if you said 2 and 2 are 4, they will get these super liberal groups to say, well, he's not really right. It's not really 4. You know, when I read off the crime statistics about the police that are being shot, like in Dallas and other places, and I read about it, and I said we had a 50% increase in police shooting. And they said, well, yeah, but that was only for this year. But if you go over 10 years or 12 years, or if you go over 7.3 years, it was a little bit less. Look, folks, the country is a mess. We're going to make it strong again. We're going to make it safe again. You're going to be so proud of it. You're going to be so proud of it. And you're going to be proud of your president, but more importantly, you're going to be proud of your country, okay? So why don't we take a few questions, and when we're finished with the questions, let's go back to work. And those of you that don't have work, hang in there. Jobs will be back sooner than you think. Okay, believe me. Yeah, go ahead. Hello.
Hi, my name is Dwight Flax from Aetna.
Hi.
And for years, we've been told by the Obamacare supporters that the law is working because it has increased health care coverage for everybody, and also that the health care spending growth has, gone down.
Right.
But it's not true because the CBO and
Right.
CMS has told us the truth. My question for you is, what are you going to do to repeal Obamacare?
Okay, great.
What's your plan?
There can't be a better question other than on defense, okay? Because we're going to build up our depleted military, most important. Defense is always number one, don't you think? But we're going to build our depleted, we're going to take care of our vets. Okay, Obamacare. Number one, we're going to repeal it and replace it 100%. It is a total disaster. You saw what's happening in Texas, Blue Cross Blue Shield, working through Obamacare, 60% increase. Here's the thing, nobody knows this. The numbers are so bad on Obamacare, so bad, that on November 1st, they're going to be announced. Those numbers are presidential election changing numbers. Those numbers are going to be so high beyond anything we've had. And President Obama is trying to change the date to December 1st, because when people see what's going to happen to Obamacare and to your health care numbers, they're so astronomical that people will never vote for crooked Hillary Clinton. They're never going to vote for her. So, and you asked a very interesting question. The way you phrased it was very interesting. Because you have a lot of part-time workers now that never had a part-time job in their life. You have people in this room, don't raise your hands, but you have people in this room that are making less money now than they made 18 years ago in real wages. Less money. And in some cases, they're making less money and working 2 jobs. And that's largely because of Obamacare. Because companies save money by breaking it up. So they'll take full-time, beautiful employees that have worked for companies for years, and they'll say, I'm sorry, you're going to be a part-time employee from now on. Obamacare has been a disaster. Obamacare is so unfair. And you know, you had a lot of people that had good plans. And we have to take care of people that can't, that don't have the money to take care of themselves. You look like a rich guy, okay? At least modestly rich. I think could be very rich. But we have to take care of people that can't afford. And I'm all for that. And we have something coming, I think, that's going to be great. And a lot of Republicans would say that's not Republican. Let me tell you, it is Republican, folks. You know, every time I've ever said it, I've never had anybody other than the eggheads, you know, the people that said Trump is never going to run. And if he runs, I don't think he'll do very well. We go to 6, we go to 12, we go to 24, we go to 30. I mean, forget it. But you know what? Other than these so-called eggheads, we never, and I mean this, I've never had anybody in an audience when I said, we're going to have a great plan, we're getting rid of the boundaries, we're going to have great private competition, and you're going to have plans now that we can't even talk about because these companies will come up with plans, and it's going to be so much less expensive and so much better. And for the people that can't afford that, we're going to take care of them. And I tell you what, I've never had one person, and I have the biggest crowds of anybody, I've never had one person stand up and say, that's not Republican. Except for the eggheads. They say, you can't do that. We got to take care of people. We can't have people dying in the streets. We can't have our vets, as an example, dying, waiting online because they can't get to see a doctor. And with our vets, interestingly, but with our vets, when you have these massive waits, we're going to have our vets go to the local doctors or the local hospital, private or public, take care of themselves. They're not going to be committing suicide. Many are committing suicide because of the waits. They can't stand it. They can't stand the pain. Simple procedures can save their lives. Simple procedures. A little incision, a small operation, a pill can save their lives, and they're dying, waiting for a doctor. And and my plan is filed, policy. We're going to have people, they can't get in. They're going to go, they're going to see a local doctor, they're going to see a local hospital, public or private. We're going to pay for the bill. And by the way, that's number one. From a humanitarian standpoint, that's great. And even less importantly, because ultimately we got to save people, it's going to be less expensive. And we're not going to have the problems that we have where people are committing suicide. So many people every day, vets, are committing suicide because they can't even get to see the doctor to help them. It's one of the big reasons of vet suicide. So we're going to take care of that. and we're going to take care of the Obama. We're going to repeal, replace, we're going to take care of everybody, okay? Thank you. Good question. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Trump,
Yes.
my name is Ryan Rivers. I'm a business owner. President Obama has made thousands of regulations that have hurt small business. As president, what will you do to help small businesses?
Well, it's really a great question, Ryan, because the thing that maybe surprised me the most is, to me, taxes are very important. It's all taxes. And it's such a big cost, or can be a big cost. Now, we have a tax bill, we have a tax law that's very complicated, but it's a big cost. If you would have told me going around, and I've met so many small business
Or
owners
can be a big
and so many large business
Now, we have a
owners,
tax
that if
bill,
they
we have a
had
tax
their
law
choice between bringing our taxes down. Now, I have the largest tax decrease of anybody that's run for office. Larry Kudlow loves it. A lot of people love it. But it's the largest tax decrease of any person running for office from the beginning, Republican or Democrat, okay? Hillary is going to have to double taxes. She's going to have to double your taxes. Hillary Clinton will double your taxes. We're bringing it down to 15%. We're simplifying the system. People that are making very little are going to pay nothing until they can break into the system. And you'll save a lot of money bureaucratically that way. But people that are making very little are going to pay nothing instead of sending in complicated returns and paying nothing. But we have a very beautiful plan, very simple, and very important. But if you would have told me, after speaking with thousands of people, that regulations, if they had their choice, you can have either reduced regulation, because people can't open businesses, they can't run their businesses. You can either have lower taxes or reduced regulation. People would take the regulation. That surprised me. That's how bad regulations are. You look at the energy business. The energy business is being put out of business. It's being put out of business. Many small business owners have come up to me saying, Mr. Trump, I'm going to lose my business because of regulations. So we're going to take care of, we're going to cut down the regulations, I would bet, between 85 and 90%. Okay? Now, some are necessary, for safety, but some aren't necessary. But I'll bet we can cut. Every year, it must be a cottage industry. They have people that just write regulations all day long. We're going to cut down regulations between 85 and 90%. We're going to take care of the environment. We're going to take care of safety. But we're going to let it be that we're going to be a growing. When you look at 1.2%, that set a record. That means we're drowning. It means we're going in the opposite direction. So we're going to take care of regulations. We're going to have very, very big cuts in regulations. Okay, another question? Who's got the mic? Go ahead. Yes, hi.
Good afternoon, Mr. Trump.
Hi.
My name is Alondra Negron Torres. I have 16 years old, and I'm from Puerto Rico.
Good place.
I think heroin.
Heroin.
Yeah, it's an epidemic here in Ohio. My question is, will you please cut off the source?
Yeah, I will cut off the source. Build a wall. I will cut off the source. Yep. Good question. Very well asked. Thank you very much. Heroin. So, my first victory as a candidate, number one, was New Hampshire, which is a beautiful, beautiful place. Beautiful trees, beautiful meadows, beautiful little roads. And I got to know the people of New Hampshire very well. And I did unbelievable. We won in a landslide in New Hampshire. That was at the beginning when we had all these people competing. It's a great state, and they have unbelievable people. I got to know the people. And I'd go into meetings, I'd say, so what's your biggest problem? And they would always say heroin. Heroin. I said, what do you mean heroin? They say heroin. I said, this doesn't look like it's a heroin-like problem type place. They say, Mr. Trump, it is flowing across our southern border. It's cheaper than candy. Our kids are being poisoned. They're being addicted. Not only kids, but kids. They're being addicted. They're dying. And for some reason, New Hampshire, more than any other place, talks about it. That's why I'm so glad you asked that question. But heroin. So I said, so where do you think it comes? What's the source? The source is the southern border. It comes from the southern border. I said, let me tell you, if I win, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop it. Now, we had 16,500 Border Patrol agents who are unbelievable people, who, if they didn't endorse me, would have a much easier job, because all they have to do is stand there and people walk right through them, right? With me, they're going to stop people from coming into our country. Okay? They're going to stop them. And they're not going to have to work that hard because the wall. I asked them, how important is the wall? They said, very important. Very important. But, so, New Hampshire told me about heroin. And I said, wow. And I said, if I win, I'm going to stop heroin from coming into this country, and there are going to be big repercussions. And I'm going to get the government of Mexico and other governments to stop it, or they've got problems. With all the money we give them, they better take better care. They're not taking care of us. They're not taking care of us. You know, I talked about trade deficits. We have a massive trade deficit with Mexico. That doesn't include the drugs that are coming across. We get the drugs, they get the money. Like this. Big vans coming across. Drugs coming in, money going out. Those days are over, folks. Those days are over. So I won New Hampshire. I then went down to all different places. We did great in Massachusetts, home of Tom Brady. We love Tom Brady. But we did great in Massachusetts. We did great sort of everywhere. But I see what a huge problem. It's not just in New Hampshire. It's all over the place. Heroin is all over the place. Mothers and fathers are losing their children. And heroin is a very addictive thing. It's very hard to get out of that addiction of heroin. It's very, very hard. And that's the other thing we're going to do. We're going to take all of these kids and people, not just kids, that are totally addicted and they can't break it. We're going to work with them. We're going to spend the money. We're going to get that habit broken. But we're not going to let this crap come into our country and poison our youth and poison our people. And it comes in mostly from the southern border. And Hillary Clinton isn't going to do that. Number one, she's not strong enough to do it. She wouldn't have a clue. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. November 8th, you got to go and vote. I'll be back. I'll be back so much you'll be sick of me. But November 8th, you have to go and vote. We've got to win this election. This is a big one. Ohio is a very important state. We have to go. We have to win this election. I love you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.